Yo, what's up guys? You're back with your man TechNick, your go-to guy for videos on the latest tech. Now today, it's pretty much about the latest tech over here since we have the Asus ROG Phone 2, which just recently got a global launch. This has a Snapdragon 855 Plus processing chip in it, as well as 8 gigs of RAM, and that incredibly awesome 120Hz refresh rate panel. On the right hand side, we have the OnePlus 7 Pro. This is not the 7 Pro, the 7T Pro. So it has a regular Snapdragon 855 processing chip in it, but this is the 12 gigs of RAM variant. So because the OnePlus is limited to 90Hz, I've also set that on the ROG Phone 2, and because the ROG Phone 2 is limited to 1080p resolution, I've set that on the OnePlus 7 Pro. I've also gone ahead and disabled all animations on both of the devices so that things are as even as possible, and we'll be using my trendy little GoPro Hero 7 Pro Black here in the bottom left hand corner, so keep an eye on that one as we go throughout this test. These are both beasts. Let's go! Okay guys, so we're going to start with round 0 over here. This is going to consist of a boot, an app refresh when first starting up the phone, as well as fingerprints and Face ID. So with the boot, the ROG Phone 2 took the first point. Take a look on the left hand side there on round 0, and then going into after the boot to refresh the apps. As soon as we start up the phone, you guys can clearly see the OnePlus 7 Pro set that up a little bit quicker, so it gets its first point, tying it up with the ROG Phone 2 in round 0. Now when we go with the fingerprint sensors, they're both optical ones over here, and I do think that I usually get a little bit of a faster thing with the OnePlus 7 Pro, and it definitely got it in the first 2 over there. Let's check. We haven't allocated a point yet because we're going to do it best out of 3, and the OnePlus 7 Pro takes the second point in round 2 because of that. Now we're going to go ahead and test out facial recognition. So the first test over there was the Asus, then the OnePlus, and now it's a tie in the last one, so they both get an extra point over there, making the OnePlus 7 Pro come out ahead by 1 point in round 0. Now we're going to start off with round 1 over here, from camera all the way down to PUBG. Round 2 will go from PUBG all the way back up to camera, not necessarily for RAM management, but to see how fast it reopens the apps later on. Let's start with round 1 over here though, and the OnePlus 7 Pro takes the second point since the ROG Phone 2 actually opened up camera quicker, and the ROG Phone 2 actually took the snap faster as well. I can assure you guys that I have slowed this clip down over and over and over again, just so that I could see which one actually opens it up, and I also took into consideration my finger speed at the bottom left to make sure that they were both accurate, so keep an eye out on that. And then also bear in mind that I have slowed this clip down ridiculously to see how fast they open up. Now I'm not going to speak about every single app as it opens, and I'll speak about the significant details as we go along, so just enjoy the test, sit back, relax, and I will speak about the important parts of these phones and my experiences with them as an actual user, since I did use these devices as my own personal device for a brief period when I initially got them. Now we actually have an extra point on the ROG Phone 2 so far, and you kind of expect that since it does have the newer Snapdragon 855 Plus processing chip as opposed to the regular Snapdragon 855 on the OnePlus 7 Pro. But OnePlus is known for optimization, and through my time using the OnePlus 7 Pro, I must say the one thing that I like it compared to other phones is it gives absolutely no issues. Every app opens perfect, every app runs ridiculously smooth, and the optimization is so darn point on. With the ROG Phone, things are good, but it almost feels like they've received the software from Android and they've slapped it on the hardware that they've been given, and they're kind of not talking to each other, if you understand what I mean, where OnePlus seems more seamless, kind of how Apple uses iOS with their Apple A13 Bionic chip, which is the new iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max. Though it's a really awesome phone, make sure you guys check out my unboxing for that one so far. And I know that these devices are slightly older. I just thought that I should do this video because I had a couple people asking me. They were really curious because these two phones right here are the kings on my channel for the speed tests. The OnePlus 7 Pro and the Asus ROG Phone 2 are the champions in the department when it comes to speed tests here, and that is because they are the best gaming phone around, and in my opinion one of the most well optimized Android phones around here. And as you guys can see, things are pretty even. OnePlus is starting to take it over here, and people have asked because the ROG has pretty much killed everything in its path, and the OnePlus has killed everything in its path, and I haven't put them head to head, so I thought I'd do it over here, and you guys can clearly see 2 points ahead on the OnePlus 7 Pro now. I'm really confused about that, really surprised about it, because I really thought the ROG Phone 2 would do a better job here because of that newer processing chip. But bear in mind guys, that is only a 4% increase in the CPU department, 15% increase in the GPU department, so you're only going to notice a huge difference when you are gaming when it comes to FPS. But in my opinion, when I did do testing on playing PUBG on the ROG Phone 2 as opposed to the Red Magic 3, which also had a Snapdragon 855 chip in it, not the Plus version, it actually got higher FPS rates than the ROG Phone 2's Snapdragon 855 Plus processing chip. So I kind of beg to differ that it is that much better. I don't think that there is too many tweaks. I actually think that they have more so overclocked the original 855 a little bit to just push as much juice as they can out of it, and they've made it a whole marketing scheme here. As you guys can see, the OnePlus 7 Pro is certainly doing better than the Asus ROG Phone 2 over here, and I am really impressed with the OnePlus 7 Pro, and I cannot say it doesn't deserve it. It is one spectacular phone with 1440p resolution, curved display, pop-up, no borders, no bezels. It is one amazing phone, and when the OnePlus 7T Pro releases, I suggest you guys go for the original OnePlus 7 Pro since it will be reduced in price, and it is still one of 2019's best phones on the market. I'm really sad that it is now gone. I do not have it anymore, so I am a little bit emotional in this clip over here, guys. But the Asus ROG Phone 2, on the other hand, has been the best gaming phone I have ever used. It may not be the best performing gaming phone, but I must say those gaming triggers on it and that 120Hz refresh rate panel are really doing wonders when it comes to using the phone. Now we are on round 2 over here, guys, and the OnePlus 7 Pro is absolutely dominating with the Asus ROG Phone 2 with 0 points so far in round 2. The OnePlus 7 Pro also beat the Asus ROG Phone in round 1 over here with 4 extra points. Now in round 2 here we have 7 points on the OnePlus 7 Pro reopening the apps. This is about the speed, not the RAM management. Even though the RAM management on both of them are fine, none of them have had to reopen any of the apps. And going into our last set of apps, it looked like the ROG did something strange over there, but still with 0 points now gets its first point reopening Instagram, but as opposed to 12 points now on the OnePlus 7 Pro when opening up Facebook. It is a huge deal over here, and we do use Astral VPN here in China since we can't get access to all of Google apps and Facebook and so on and so such. We do have Spotify opening up there, and we have an extra point there in the settings menu for the ROG Phone and the OnePlus since it was a tie. There have been more ties in this test than there ever have been, guys, and I cannot say how surprised I am by the final result over here, since that was the last app that we have opening on this test here in round 2, and I must say the OnePlus 7 Pro outdid itself with almost double points. Went 4 points ahead in round 1, which is the most important round. Round 2, it reopened everything faster, and round 0 definitely had the upper hand in the fingerprint sensor. I must say I'm really impressed with what OnePlus have to offer, but if you guys want a gaming phone, there is nothing better than the Asus ROG Phone 2, which is still blitz fast. But for the purposes of this test, OnePlus is king. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, and until next time, this is TechNick.